Here's how things look for all sectors. If you look at your screen, as you can see, it's not great news. Services, production and construction are all down. In fact, at the end of the day, we're in a terrible, terrible pickle.
Well, it may not be as terrible as it could have been. Joining us now in the studio, Conservative peer and leading pollster, Lord Robert Hayward.
Morning.
Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning.
Look, the Prime Minister promised the British public, when he became Prime Minister, look, I'm going to grow the economy. He hasn't done that.
No, he hasn't, and the economy has been flatlining for roughly 2 years in one form or another. The problem is that we concentrate on Britain, quite rightly, but this morning Japan has announced it's in recession and Germany did the same a few weeks ago. So that we're actually in a worldwide problem. But there's no question, Rishi made a commitment and he's not met it.
Can I ask you, because you're also a pollster, and I want to talk to you at the end of this conversation about Rochdale, but let's look at election year.
Yes.
We talk a lot about immigration. People emotionally will tell you that that's the #1 story. But I've always believed that when that moment comes, when you go into that booth, Robert, that actually how much clink you've got in your pocket, as my old man used to say, is essentially where you will cast your vote. I don't know, but most people will be very disenfranchised by the current government and wondering whether even a Labour Party will be able to make their lives better.
Let's deal with the economy and the voting habits first, and then we'll come on to what might be changed. Worldwide, in democracies, the economy, however you describe it, inflation, unemployment, all those sorts of, always #1 issue in opinion polls, long way ahead. Things like immigration, the NHS, climate change matter, but matter to different groups in terms of different importance. But they are way down on the economy. It was James Carville with Bill Clinton who said, it's the economy, stupid. So, yes. The problem for the Labour Party is that they are currently perceived in the polls, they may be the alternative, but many people perceive them as not a party not of change, because they aren't, at the moment, offering a clear alternative. So although they are the potentially alternative government, people have not bought into them in the way that they bought into Tony Blair in 96, 97.
Which surprises me, sorry, I just want to say this, because I mean, I've made this point for weeks, and I'm going to give Starmer a bit of credit here. I was brought up to believe that the Conservative Party, and I say it every day, was about low taxation, strong borders, a strong military and fiscal financial responsibility. We all know that's a joke. We've got the highest taxation, our borders are not under control, our military is decimated. And so, for me, it's been possible for the Labour Party to keep quite quiet whilst the Tory party pulls itself to shreds. But the reason I wanted you on today massively was there is an opinion poll overnight which says, and this is nothing to do with Rochdale, this is on the back of the 28 billion, we're going to do the Greens, that's been dropped. They've lost 8 points. Are we seeing, as that light is shone on Starmer, that people are going, hold on a minute, we want a bit more detail here?
It's been underlying in the polls for a long time. As I say, people have not bought into the Labour Party. The Labour Party, as you say, have been gifted the lead because of the battles within the Conservative Party. And the light has not been shone on the Labour Party. And the Tories are flatlining in the 20s somewhere. As you say, that poll, the fieldwork was done before Rochdale. And therefore, and all along,
but post the abandoning of the Green
absolutely,
pledge,
absolutely, and other accusations of flip-flopping, etc. So normally what it takes is about 7 to 10 days for some major event to really feed through into the polls. It's almost as if people need to go to the pubs or discuss it with their neighbours or whatever.
The water cooler moment.
Absolutely. Rochdale will not begin to feed through until later this week, early next week. It may show up in the sub-questions on opinion polls. I spend my time reading all 48 pages of an opinion poll. You look at the headline quite rightly.
What do you think's happening? Is a change happening?
There is. It's confirming the weakness, but it has to go on for quite a long time for it to change the overall figures of all the polls.
I want to talk about Rochdale, John. Sorry, I want to just do this quickly. Rochdale's an interesting one. We've been talking about it all week. First of all, with respect, there's now a candidate who's been abandoned by the Labour Party, but with a Labour Party moniker, because they can't do anything about it. You've got George Galloway, who will look at the Muslim and Palestinian vote. That's the Workers' Reform Party. You've got Simon Danshuk, who used to be a Labour Party MP, who's standing for the Reform Party. Can you see, as a pollster, Azhar Ali being derailed by what's happened?
I can see him being returned.
Can you?
Oh, yes. I think the two candidates who are fighting for victory are Azhar Ali or George Galloway. And it depends. One of the ways in which people have shown that they're not tied into the Labour Party, particularly in recent months, has been by not turning out to vote. You look at the turnouts in by-elections, you look at the level of don't knows from Conservatives from 2019, and people are not buying in. So you could see a very low poll in Rochdale and all sorts of odd figures in terms of the result.
Fantastic.
Thank you
should
so
be on
much.
all the time. It made more sense than anybody.
Thank you so much, Lord Hayward. Really appreciate your time. And we should say that there's a list of all the candidates standing in the Rochdale by-election on our website, TalkTV. Find that there.